Greetings and salutations. This is Chief Security Officer Don Cornelio of American Muscle Security LLC in conjunction with Stack Books Foundation LLC in conjunction with Parent Group Confidential LLC. Salute to everybody that was with us during Operation Reforge. This is Operation Meshach, and Abednego. And I am your host, it's Donnie the Guard, badge number 11516466472. Bodyguard, whistleblower, watchdog, search party coordinator, me, special police, I did say police. Today is January 22nd, 2026, and welcome to my class, Think Like a Cop, where I get to show you the benefits, or explain the benefits, some of the benefits, from a novice standpoint, of thinking like a cop when you're a business manager for an R&B group, a rock band, a solo artist career, whether that's yourself or any one of your friends, family, significant other, or you're just a business manager and you know somebody who has a mom and pop business in the neighborhood, in your local town, city, state, and they ask you, hey, I want you to help me manage my business. You know, you seem to have a little bit of experience. I need you. Help me keep my business afloat. So before we do that, I just want to explain that this is something that I do not just for school.com, but on the side I have discussion groups. That's why I started off like that. But for those of you who are watching this on school.com, I am Instructor Cornelio. My doing business as is Don Corleone. That's just a doing business as, but when I do school.com, I am Instructor Cornelio. That's my government name. And let's get started. We got these 3 books behind me. We're gonna help you guys who have friends in the music industry, or you yourself are breaking into you're an emerging artist, you're breaking into the industry, and simultaneously you're going to school. You thought of an idea similar to mine that you want to be a cop, or you want to work in law enforcement. Say you're like me, you want to get into forensic science, you want to work in a laboratory. You don't see yourself doing infantry, you don't see yourself arresting anybody, you don't see yourself, doing any of those demanding, requirements. And this is for you. First off, I'm going to start off like I usually start off, because I believe that these are some morals, some ethics, some codes that you live by that are going to help you become a better officer, business manager, maybe. I'm in it to be an officer. My long-term goal is to be an IP lawyer, have my own IP firm, law firm, contract law. But along the way, my goal is to work for a detective with detectives, work for a department or with a department, or work for a private detective studying autopsies, not using what I learned studying autopsies and studying crime scene, to just help out where I can when it comes to, taking down the bad guy and just staying in the shadow of those who do that on the forefront of it all. So let's study our correctional officer's creed. Those of you who know me, Instructor Cornelio, know that one of my goals along the way is to, I've given serious thought about being a correctional officer, so I'm just going to say it, my creed. You're welcome to say it along with me or say it in your spare time, but we're going to do that and we're going to get into this book. Welcome to class. Those of you who tuned in to the quiz, the pop quiz. I'll be having another pop quiz today or tomorrow online on school.com /think like a cop. And I also have like assignments, little assignments. The first one last week was 3 questions, I think. I hereby pledge to speak sparingly, to act not, to argue, to be in authority through personal presence, to correct without nagging, to speak with the calm voice of certainty, to see everything, to know what is significant and what not to notice, to be neither insensitive to distress, nor so distracted by pity as to miss what must elsewhere be seen. To do neither that which is unkind nor self-indulgent, and its misplaced charity, never to obey the impulse to tongue lash, that silent insolence which in times past could receive the lash, to be both firm and fair, to know I cannot be fair simply by being firm, nor firm simply by being fair, to support the reputation of associates and to confront them without anger. I want you to think of some of these things as I'm saying them and why this will be important even as a business manager. And whenever you endeavor to becoming a business manager or some form of a leader where people are going to rely on you, you come up with your own code of ethics, something like this, etc. Should they stand short of professional conduct, to reach forward knowledge of the continuing mysteries of human motivation, to think, always to think, to be dependable first to my charges and associates, thereafter to my duty as employee and citizen, to keep fit, to keep forever alert, to listen to what is meant as well as what is said with words and with silences. To expect respect from my charges and my superiors, yet to never abuse one for the abuses from the other, for 8 hours each working day, to be an example of the person I could be at all times, to acquiesce in no dishonest act, to cultivate patience under boredom and calm during confusion, to understand the why of every order that I take and that I give. To hold freedom among the highest values, though I deny it to those I guard, to deny it with dignity, that in my example they find no reason to lose their dignity, to be prompt, to be honest with all who practice deceit, that they not find in me excuse for themselves, to privately face down my fear, that I signal it not, to privately cool my anger, that I not displace it on others, to hold in confidence what I see and hear, which by the telling could harm or humiliate to no good purpose. To keep my outside problems outside, to leave inside that which should stay inside, to do my duty. Bob Barrington. Rikers Jail Entrance Hall features a 1995 mural of the CEO Creed, authored by late Professor Rob Barrington of North Michigan University. The Creed was widely distributed by the International Association. These are a few of my favorite things. These things go hand in hand. From the crime scene. Okay? So if I'm a forensics officer, you're a forensics officer, and you're working a crime scene or you're working in a lab, we're under the assumption that the suspect hasn't been caught or apprehended, or maybe they have been apprehended and they're sitting in a jail cell somewhere, and we're left with the crime scene to look at it and put the pieces together and figure out how to, maybe it's this person in this cell, maybe it's this person over here in this cell, maybe it's this person that hasn't been caught, maybe it's a magical bullet. God forbid. So, these things all go hand in hand. But the first thing you're gonna need to know is no man is an island. This is rule number 1, not only in the correctional officer's handbook, not only in a police officer's handbook, but in the business manager's handbook, in the Bible of being a leader. No man is an island. Okay? Nobody works alone. So even if you're in a band, a rock band, R&B, hip hop group, or if you're a solo artist, you're gonna need some things. You're going to need a lawyer. okay? Because with money comes problems. So that's for criminal defense. Anytime there's some accusations against you, whether you're at fault for it or not. Also, a lot of people fall behind in their taxes. Things happen, car accidents, mishaps. So you have civil law to deal with those civil things. You have criminal law to deal with those criminal things. And you have contract law to deal with, the paperwork. That would be somebody like me to say, okay, well, this was what I was telling you about back in, when you first signed your record deal on page 85, that I was telling you this clause is no good. You should have asked them to take it out. We could have found you a better record label that's going to allow you to take that clause out and put in a new one. I could even help you write it. But I don't know why they expect me to pay back this, that, and the third, and they're putting a lien on my house now. So these are a few of my favorite things. So you're gonna need a lawyer, 3 different kinds of lawyers. Not on retainer, but to have a good relationship, to have a good rapport with these people. Know 3 different people who deal in law. 1 in criminal, 1 in civil, and 1 in contract. Even if you're not in the entertainment industry, it's good to know, because you sign a contract every time you sign up for an account at a bank. You sign a contract every time you sign a lease to get an apartment. You sign a contract every time you sign a deed when you buy a house. You sign a contract every time you get a phone when you got a plan. So contracts are a part of your everyday life. You take out a loan to go to college, you sign a contract. So one day the IRS puts a lien on your house, puts a lien on your car, you don't have it anymore. You're wondering, who do you turn to? You need a lawyer, but that's not a criminal lawyer. That's somebody that's more so gonna be like Attorney Edgar Snyder, because on your part or on my part, that's negligence. But we're trying to not assume the liability to say, well, we were up on all the things that we should have been queued up on. It's not our negligence, it's the other person. It's malpractice, this, it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever you want to call it. You need an accountant. You're gonna need a security guard. You don't want to grab one of your friends that has access to a firearm, some sort of ratchet, a switchblade, a billy club, brass knuckles. You don't want to be walking down the street like the Ninja Turtles. One of you is Donatello, you got a stick. The other guy has a sword, he's Leonardo. The other guy has a sai, he's Raphael. The other guy has some nunchucks, he's Michelangelo. And none of you ever took a martial arts class. You don't have a gym to keep your stuff secured in. You don't have a permit to carry it, let alone have it. You don't want to be like that. You want to have a security guard, maybe let's say, that has experience working for St. Moritz, maybe Allied Universal, maybe they have military background, maybe they're a police officer, but some experience, not just taking a class, not just having a certificate, not just having a degree, but you're gonna wanna have somebody who wears these hats, who not only has worn the clothes, the uniform, but has gone through the process of the experience of day-to-day life as a lawyer, as an accountant, as a security guard. What else do you need? As a public relations PR rep, A&R, as a DJ. You don't want somebody who just DJs in their basement. You want somebody that DJs in the club, okay? Every day they're meeting new people. The tape is not gonna just sit in the basement and collect dust. It's gonna go to the radio stations that you need to go to. It's not just gonna be at the bottom of the boxes, it's gonna be right up there. They got your USB flash drive, they got whatever your music is on. Even if it's just IP, even if it's just a video, The guy says he's gonna recommend it, he's gonna recommend it. He says he's up there with the people, he's read a video. By the way, so-and-so is really, really hot right now. I need you to listen to this right now. Nah, can it wait? Nah, I need you to listen to this right now. This chick right here, she's the next Mary J. Blige. She's the next Alicia Keys. She's the next Mariah Carey. If you don't listen to this right now, you're gonna kick yourself in the ass when in the rear, whenever somebody picks her up and they got her and you don't. So you need something like that. So the bottom line is no man is an island, because if you're an island, then you're walking around town and you're wondering why 20 years down the line you're not really categorized with the people that are actually going to be at the Grammys. You're just a hometown hero. You're not really categorized as somebody that one day is going to be named with the Kendrick Lamars, the Rick Rosses, the Meek Mills. Your name is not going to come up. It's down here underwater. Connections are everything. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It is what you know, but who you know helps what you know actually matter. So, before we get into this, let's get into this. Okay? Let's start with this. Problems. Problems with employees is the same thing as like problems with my band. You're gonna find that in here if you're the leader of the band. Okay? Why do you have problems with your band? Why do I have problems with my band? I have problems with my band because I don't have a business manager, and if I do, I don't take that business manager's advice, or they're giving me advice that doesn't work. It's faulty advice. But either or, when you first get your guys together, okay? Let's say it's a rock band, let's say it's an R&B band, or let's just say it's a garage, whatever it is, a mom and pop business. You get some guys together, you say, I want to start a garage, I want to fix bikes. One day my garage is going to be the biggest garage in town, everybody's going to be coming to me, but you want to go like Grease Lightning. You can't be the only guy thinking he's John Travolta. I tell this to myself every single day. You know what I mean? If I want to be John Travolta, I have to have those guys behind me doing the thing, or else I'm going to be looking stupid, like walking around town like this every day. Nobody's going with me. I got no Leonardo, I got no Donatello, I got no Raphael. Your manager's going to tell you to get one of these. What's that? It's a regiment. This is a regiment. We discussed this last time. Biggie Smalls was a great artist. He had the 10 crack commandments. Great artist, but unfortunately that doesn't work. As we know, the streets is a short stop. Even if you sling a wicked rock, it's still a short stop. Those commandments are going to work for people that are going to listen to you, but as far as you're going to go as a jail institution in depth. Now, if you got a handbook or something like a correctional officer's commandments, or something like a police, a mechanic's commandments, an engineer's commandments, an architect's commandments. Obviously, nobody likes to be commanded, let alone be controlled. Finessed, they'll allow that, but people don't even like that. People like to be compelled to do things, maybe even wooed, right? But still, you're gonna have some type of regimen, a handbook, a code. So this is the code of you as a business manager, and this is how it's gonna apply. And that's gonna bring you to this, if you're ready to go that far. But let's just keep it in the cusp of everything. Let's start with this NOLO book real quick. Dealing with problem employees. Okay, so table of contents. First, I'm gonna let you know where to find these books. You can find them on the second floor in the Carnegie Public Library in the NOLO section. And so you have the high cost of problem employees. So we're talking about the high cost of having people along with you, crusading along with you, that aren't falling in line, that aren't in unison. So in one aspect, it's true that no man is an island. But on another aspect, the last thing you want, again, like I said last class, is to have an LLC and blow it. The LLC is a very, very, very valuable asset to have, just like a partnership is a very extremely important aspect to have. A S Corp, a C Corp, a franchise, all of these things are excellent things to have. But first comes the unison. So when you get your guys together, your team together, your girls, your ladies, whatever, you're gonna say to yourself, yo, or whoever you're, you want to pick somebody like an advisor. Find a business advisor. I would choose an accountant to pick their brain when it comes to these things. My accountant is with H&R Block. But you can also, you can find any accountant around town and you pick their brains about these things. Pause, we're gonna be right back. Okay, we're back. All right, so the high cost of problem employees. In a minute, we're gonna watch a little bit of a movie that was a great movie in the 80s, the early 90s. I think it was called Police Academy. There's another great one, Disorderlies, is with the Fat Boys, fantastic rap group back in the days. The high cost of problem employees. Page 2, how this book can help. Who should use this book? Who should not use this book? Chapter 1, we have what's your problem? Performance or productivity problems, interpersonal problems, insubordination, excessive absenteeism, drugs and alcohol, theft and dishonesty, violence, when technology is a problem. Okay? Number 2, we have chapter 2, we have employment law basics, employment at will, employment contracts, breaches of good faith and fair dealing, violations of public policy and retaliation, discrimination, unfair labor practices, 3, performance evaluations. Chapter 3, we have the benefits of evaluation system. Okay, this is a good important thing to have. Create performance objectives. Step 2, observe and document employee performance. Step 3, conduct interim meetings to discuss progress and problems. Step 4, conduct the year-end evaluation. Let's begin. So obviously there's more than 3 chapters in this book. It looks like there's 12. And the last one, interestingly enough, hiring a lawyer. Okay, let's begin. In the chapters that we follow, we talk extensively about strategies for dealing with problem employees. Before we do that, however, we'd like to turn the spotlight on the problems themselves. After all, that's why you bought this book in the first place. You've got a specific problem that you want to solve. In this chapter, we address how to deal with certain employee problems. As part of this discussion, we refer to the strategies and management techniques that we discuss throughout the rest of this book, including performance evaluations, progress discipline, workplace investigations, terminations, effective hiring practices, The chart at the end of this chapter summarizes the typical employee problems you might face and possible strategies for resolving them. Performance or productivity problems. For the most part, your business will only be as good as your employees, okay? Before I get into this, let me tell you a little bit of part of the reason why I became an instructor on school.com. I really haven't took too much time to check out all the other courses and what people are talking about on theirs, and that's something that I'm going to get into. But I'm scrolling through my Instagram, and it says, "Are you an artist? We want you on school. We want you to right? If you can teach hip hop, etc. Right? So this is an important part about this. I would say this is the backbone of productivity, and this is something that I feel like I wanted to teach, I want to bring to the table when it comes to music, because I can't teach you to rap. You're going to be able to teach yourself or not. I can't teach you to sing. I can't teach you to play a drum. That's something that you're born with or not, or you develop or not. So this would be the technique, the business side of it. I also encourage you who are taking this class to try on your hat at teaching and sharing things yourself on school.com. So let's get into it again. For the most part, your business will only be as good as your employees, okay? So as I said before, you're not gonna just pick out any, Bogart or Humphrey, thinking they're gonna be Cagney and Lacey. You're not gonna pick out just any guys that know how to wield some nunchucks, a sword, or a firearm. You're gonna pick up somebody that knows that that's the last resort. Okay, somebody with the experience of walking the walk, somebody who's walked the beat years, maybe even decades, or somebody who's been an accountant years. They didn't just graduate, they got a degree that they never used. They've been an accountant at H&R Block for years, maybe even decades, etc. Okay? Picking out a lawyer is another technical thing. Some people would think, oh, well, you got to have a lawyer on retainer to be good in this. No, you don't. You just know somebody. I would start out with somebody who's in college studying law. You could even try me. I'll give out my number at the end of the show. And my goal is to help people expunge their cases. I myself have been in trouble with the law before. I've been on both ends, representing the law and been in trouble. This is something that we all go through in life. But I want to help people expunge their cases. I want to help people have a second chance, whether they have drug addictions, whether they've committed some crime that they're not proud of. It's never too late. These days you can even get felonies to expunged. You can get a pardon, so don't give up. But be careful who you pick, who you invite into your rap group, into your R&B group, into your business, into your house, into your circle. Be careful who you invite into your circle, because it's always the closest ones to you that get you into a heap of crap. And killers come with smiles, okay? Be careful. For the most part, your business will only be as good as your employees. This simple fact makes performance and productivity problems a real threat to success of business. For this reason, resolving performance problems is one of the most important tasks of an employer or a manager. For a long time, I've always dreamed of having a record label. Not just any record label, but one of the greatest record labels to ever exist was my dream. I had this idea. I was going to call my record label Ivy League Entertainment. I had no idea how extravagant and outlandish that idea was to begin with. All I knew was I had family members and some friends that went to Ivy League schools, and that's one of the best schools that you can go to. So I was thinking, let me just call it that because this is going to be the best label that you can come to. When you choose my record label, you're going to come to the Ivy League of all record labels, is what I was thinking. This was a bad idea because not only was this name taken, these are the people that I'm striving for in life to actually have an opportunity, to give me an opportunity in life that I'm not going to have in any other walk of life. So it's never good to be an imitator. So eventually I gave up, pursuing the idea of calling my label that, and I decided to actually try to take classes, and that's what brought me to Coursera and EDX, etc., where I took classes in law and different various things, through Harvard, EDX, and Yale, etc. But I used to call myself a CEO, and again, you could call yourself anything, but what are you doing that makes you stand out when, someone is discussing an actual CEO that gets things done? What does a CEO do? Let's look this up. The definition of CEO, the acronym, is Chief Executive Officer. What is executive? Executive means that you make the decisions. You're the end all and you're the be all of decisions when it comes to anything that gets done in the office of recording, publishing, distribution, management, promotions, you name it. At your label, all of these departments, the heads of these departments, they all look at you. You're the all-seeing eye. You're the CEO. That's the Chief Executive Officer. But before you want to be a Chief Executive Officer, you want to know what it's like being an officer just to begin with. So I had to dumb it down a little bit. Let me find out what it's like to be a security officer. Let me find out what it's like to be any kind of officer, a peace officer, a petty officer, down here officer. And where I began was working university police as an auxiliary officer. Let me try this on. Okay, what does an officer do? An officer maintains the company morale, but they don't do it alone. I don't do it alone. You don't do it alone. Nobody does any of this alone. But together, collectively, okay, you maintain the company morale, which is your creed, your mission, your motto at your LLC, your record label, your garage, whatever. So let's say your name is Tony. Let's say you have a garage. At Tony's Garage, you say your motto is to never work on a car that doesn't get fixed. You have this on a sign, on a plaque on your wall when people come to your company and say, hey Tony, can you fix my car? You say, hey, look at the wall. Don't you see it? Of course I can fix it. You brought it to me. You know our motto at Tony's Garage. I never start a car that I don't fix. Or I'll just tell you, hey man, I'll look at it, and if I can't fix it, I'll tell you to take it to the next guy. Okay? But how can you do this? Nobody can do that. Because you're gonna come to a situation where you get a muffler that you just can't fix. You get a motor, you try forever and you can't find out what's wrong with it, and eventually you go to your neighbor and he says, oh, that's easy. It's not the motor, it's the catalytic converter. It's not the catalytic converter, it's the accelerator. It's not the accelerator, it's the alternator. I could have told you that. Why do you just want to be the only guy at Tony's Garage? Why do you want to be the only? Why do you want to be Ivy League Entertainment? Why can't you just be, Aarao Cornelio Entertainment? Why can't you just be this is what I'm here for. I'm your neighbor. Trust me. So trust. Right? But just a little thing I wanted to explain to you. Okay? But all in all, you do this when you're thinking of your blueprint for your mom and pop shop, your garage, or your pie factory, your architecture business, your firm, whatever it is, your studio, your tattoo shop. Okay? You're thinking of your blueprint. You're saving up money. You're getting your equipment. You got a couple bundles. You got a couple thousands stashed somewhere over here, stashed somewhere over there. You're saying to yourself, you know what, man? I think I can trust Molly. I'm just using Molly because it's the first name I think of. I'm gonna make Molly my go-to chick, right? Bad move. You gotta have a chick that is not lovey-dovey with. So I think I could trust. That's not what I meant. I think I can trust her as my go-to catalyst. I think I can trust Frazier. Frazier would be a good guy for a liaison. He's an accountant. He works at H&R Block, etc., etc. I think I can trust him. Hey, Frazier, what? Don't tell anybody this, but I got $7,000 saved up. You never start like that. There's a way to start it out where you don't just necessarily drop the ball on somebody that you got $7,000 saved up, because $7,000 isn't $7,000 anymore. This is 2026. To some people, $7,000 is $70. To some people, $7,000 is $7 million. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. So you need, look. So I got this idea that I was playing with. I want to start a garage. Oh, you want to start a garage? So what are you telling me for? Well, you're an accountant. I trust you. You know what you're doing when it comes to numbers. I want to ask you some advice, etc., etc. So there's a way to ask people advice without including them in your ball of wax, what you got going on, because sometimes people, when they see wheels churning in somebody's brain, they see an avalanche that's it's only a snowflake to you, but to them it's an avalanche and it's going downhill. It's not going uphill, because they just see you. They don't see anybody helping you push it up the hill. And they see a mountain this big, you only see one like that. But so you say to the guy, you say, Tony, I want to start a garage, but what are you telling me for? Well, because I have some people in mind that I want to include. I want to know what you think, if it's a good idea to include these people. So what are they like? Wait, before you tell me all this, is this all you came into my office for? I thought you came into my office because you wanted to show me your books so I could help you do taxes. On the clock, ask me about taxes, bring your books, and I'll help you with that. Off the clock, how about Thursday we have a burger and you tell me about these guys and I'll tell you if I think that they'll be a good crew for you or not. Okay, etc. But until then, you're doing a good job. If maybe months passed, maybe even years passed, you don't want 5 years. You don't want to be sitting on an idea for more than 5 years, let alone 3 years. When it comes around 2 years, you should be asking yourself, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe I should think about like a McDonald's, a job as a sanitation worker, a plumber, or this or that. Even I do, I have backup plans. My goal is to be an IP lawyer, work as a forensics officer, not all in one day. But, I DoorDash in the meantime. When I don't DoorDash, I have another source of income. If this doesn't work out, that's gonna work out. My passion, one of my hobbies in the spare time is boxing, music. But if those don't work out, I got this, I got that. Right? But why do people hold off and choose to keep all these ideas, even if it wears them thin? They wear all these hats before they say, okay, I'm gonna take this hat off and nominate this person the head of my project when it comes to me becoming a musician. I'm gonna take this hat off and let this person be the head of the promotion when it comes to me, maybe if I make it at boxing. I'm gonna take this hat off and let this person wear the hat when it comes to my forensics lab. Okay? It's because a lot of us are walking around with knives in our back because we remembered when we trust somebody and we said, hey, you know what I'm saying? I have $7,000, and then we went to our hiding spot where our piggy bank is at, and that $7,000 was gone. You don't want to experience that anymore. So you're walking around like an island when I keep telling you, no man is an island. Okay? So eventually it's, trust. But until then, there's certain things that happen, and we're gonna watch a little bit of this Disorderlies and Police Academy real quick, so we can see some of the things that can happen when you choose the wrong people, and then we're gonna see what's gonna happen when you choose the right people.
We're here to help people customize and safely neutral.
So that's why the people receive?
Yes.
Before we get into this video, I didn't construct this video. I do not own this IP. Do not monetize this. Oh, actually, in fact, I'm gonna stop the video real quick and start the next video so that I could actually use this for class, because, I do get paid for school.com, so I'm gonna stop this and start this so I can use it for this discussion.